Here's our look at the contenders for Melodi Grand Prix 2025 in Norway, the country's national selection for the Eurovision Song Contest. While we disclaim several things, this is a good time to remind you to visit theEuroyard.com for all of our national final reviews and rankings as we prepare for May 2025 in Basel. Our initial notes on MGP 2025. This is taking place on Saturday, the 15th of February. There's been a big change to the format from prior years. In 2024, there were 3 heats with 6 songs each and then a grand final on the last weekend. This contest, however, has just 9 entries and it's all on one night. Whereas last year's contest was bigger and stretched out over 4 weekends, this is one main event and that's it. We will run through all the entries and then rank them in order, in alphabetical order of the song titles, and yes, the vast majority of these song titles are in English. We start with Hot as Hell in Paradise by Ladybug. Next up is Human Fire by Wigwam, and you remember them from about 20 years ago representing Norway at the contest. Speaking of names you remember, it's Joyful by Bobby Socks. Elizabeth and Hannah were Norway's first winners back in 1985. Next up is Last Song by Tone Damli, and it would be quite ironic if this ends up going last in the running order. This is followed by Lighter, sung by Kyle Alessandro. Moving through the list, LLL has the next song called Parasite. This is followed by Sulale, performed by Noura Jabri. Just 2 left. The next is The Game by Nataline, and finally we have Vagabond, which will be performed by Sandre. Let's jump right into the rankings, since for this one we've decided we will rank all 9. Why not? Anyway, the last song we mentioned is the first on the list, Vagabond. This song seemed to have a nice beat, but I just don't think it landed as a whole. There were instrumental stretches there where I kind of lost interest. I wouldn't be surprised if this stages well, but there's a lot to overcome. In 8th, we went with Sulale by Noura Jabri. There was a little bit of an Arabic vibe to it, so I gave her credit for that, as well as singing decently. Where this didn't go quite right is that I wouldn't have expected a song with the vibe that it has to turn out to be a little bland. Not a bad song by any stretch, but I think more could have been done with this. Up to 7th, we have a returnee, Human Fire by Wigwam. I thought In My Dreams was a fun performance back in 2005, but that was then, and this is now. Wigwam is a glam rock, 80s hair band kind of group. I think there's a lane for them in the contest, and I think there's still a place for this music on the scene. However, this song was almost more like alternative rock in terms of the underlying musical composition. One thing to keep in mind about them is they will probably stage this well, but is the music dated? Well, yeah, of course. In 6th, and this kind of injures me, I have Joyful by Bobby Socks. Elizabeth and Hannah are Eurovision legends. Elizabeth and her various acts is on our website's top 100 list 3 times. I adore them, and if there were a way I could have rigged the numbers to get them into the top 5 or so, I would have. However, we try to come up with a fair, comprehensive score for each song. This song is cute, pleasant, and charming, and might have done well at Eurovision in 1992. It doesn't break any new ground, I'm sorry to say, but I'm very happy to see them back at MGP. They were there last year, but just as an interval act. Now moving on to the top 5 and 5th, we have Parasite by LLL. The composition was okay, the vocals maybe a little less so. I think people are gonna find it fun, but truth be told, I think there are more fun songs in the lineup this year. Back on the vocals, they did sound a little produced in the studio track, so I'm a bit concerned as to how that's going to go when this is performed live. Up into 4th place, it's Last Song by Tone Damli. I don't know that this is one of the better compositions in the contest, but it's not a difficult listen. It's got a fun beat and a clean sound. The criticism I raised in my notes is that this song definitely could have been done a decade ago, but I think given that it has some tempo, it's going to find its supporters at MGP. Getting into the top 3, the one that I perceive will be people's favorite, Lighter by Kyle Alessandro. Maybe one of the better written songs in the contest, and it's on the more interesting side of things. The beat is definitely going to get people invested. One note I had is that with his singing voice, I feel like I've heard exactly the same voice and intonations by several other male singers this national final season. I mean, he is who he is and he sings how he sings, but if this does in fact go to Eurovision. I look forward to seeing how they're going to tighten this up because it has some potential. In second place, we have Hot as Hell in Paradise by Ladybug. I would have had this song in first if not for the vocals. It didn't seem like the diction was clear at times during the song, but onto the positives. I think this was the most interesting song in the whole contest, and it had the best beat. I'm hoping she can put on a good show at MGP. Finally, the song we had in first was The Game by Natalie. There's no question in my mind that she's talented. It doesn't have the beat that the second place song does, but I think it's the best written song, and I think when she tries to hit those high notes, it's gonna land well with the audience. This is one of a few songs in the MGP final that has some potential to do well beyond this Norwegian selection. That was our MGP ranking, so what's next? Subscribe to the Euroyard on YouTube so you won't have to ask. Be sure to also check us out on Blue Sky and visit us at theeuroyard.com.